It is Tuesday, March 28th, and this is your Morning Mud. Good morning, everyone. I am Matt Wright, editor-in-chief of Muddied Waters Media. Hope everybody out there is having a great Tuesday. Thank you all for all of the birthday wishes that I got over the weekend. I definitely appreciate it. I hope everybody enjoyed yesterday's episode, which was clips from the subscriber segment from Friday. So I hope everybody liked those, and I hope you all got to learn a few things along the way. So thank you all so much for being a part of all of this. Let's get into it. So yesterday, in my former hometown of Nashville, Tennessee, there was a shooting that took place at Covenant Christian Elementary School. And I know exactly Covenant Presbyterian Church School. Sorry, Covenant Presbyterian Church School. And I know this area well. I know exactly where this school was, and I know people who have gone there. So this one actually hits a little bit close to home. Now, yesterday, Monday, the 27th, a woman named Audrey Elizabeth Hale, went into Covenant Presbyterian Church School, and with two AR-style rifles and a handgun. Went there, killed 6 people, including 3 children. So 3 children, 3 adults. And this is a tragedy whenever this has happened. Immediately, what you see from mainstream media, it doesn't matter left, right, whatever, they're all going for narrative. The right will typically go for, it's mental, it's a mental health problem. And the left will say it's a mental health problem, but they'll say that the fact that there is, vast right-wing extremist groups out there, that's what's causing these things. In this case, the left does not really have an argument that this is some right-wing extremist group or any of its acolytes coming in and doing this. The shooter who normally we don't say names of shooters and stuff, we just call them the shooters, but you don't see it often where the shooter is a biological female. And I have to say it that way. But you don't see it often where the shooter is a biological female. Because in this case, you do see that the shooter is a biological female. Audrey Hale. Now, according to the Independent, she was a former student at Covenant Presbyterian Church, and she ended up being shot by police on an upper floor of the school. This school, for anybody who doesn't live around Nashville or has never been to Nashville, this school is huge, especially for an elementary school. This place is huge. It is a very, very well-known school in the area. She had shot open a side door before opening fire on students and staff with 2 assault-style rifles, AR-style rifles. There's no such thing as an assault-style rifle. That's a rifle. Oh, it's like it's an assault-style punch. It's a punch, like if I'm punching somebody, it's an assault style punch. Like there's never a punch that I'm giving that's not an assault style punch. So the Nashville Metro Police Chief John Drake said Hale was not believed to have any previous criminal record, but said there was a manifesto and a map of the school grounds showing entrances had been found at Hale's home. And people wanted to know kind of what the motive is, and they haven't released the manifesto at the time that I'm recording this. The manifesto has not been released, but what this is, everything that we know, I'm going to be able to tell you right now. So they had a map of the drawn out places. They believe that Hale was a former student at Covenant Presbyterian. Hale reportedly identified as transgender and used the pronouns he, him. And I know that I've referred to Hale as she and her throughout this, and that is because I refer to people that I know, like, and respect by the pronouns that they want. If I don't, then I won't do that, and this person definitely has not earned those. So Hale, I will refer to Hale as she throughout this, because I'm not going to give you the respect that you think you deserve when you just murdered 6 people in an elementary school. But we do think that the attack was definitely targeted. Since Hale had the maps and everything. And Chief Drake of Nashville Police, is saying that there's no known history of mental illness, but that it is something that's being investigated. He also said Hale been considering targeting another location, but apparently decided not to because of the level of security around it. And that is the most important statement in this article. Hale looked at multiple locations to commit this atrocity. There were, I don't know what the other location is, but didn't because of the level of security that was around it. Now, I don't care what that other location is, but it's in Tennessee. Tennessee, I believe, has open carry. Tennessee, I believe, has open carry. Probably not in the city of Nashville, but they have open carry. A lot of people are going to be concealed carry. A lot of people are going to be open carrying. And wherever Hale had initially picked, she decided not to go with that place because of the level of security around it, and instead went to a school. Now, I am somebody who likes to look at things like this and just say, okay, here's point A, and here is point B. Point A, she shot up a school because the security around that was too lax. People say that we shouldn't have high security at schools because we don't want children to feel unsafe. How do you do this? Now, normally I would say we just need to get rid of schools, but this is a private school, so it's different. So they can absolutely get whatever they can absolutely get as much security as they want. I'm not as adept at all of the laws in Tennessee as I used to be. And there might be something about, how many firearms can be on campus with students and whatever. That could be a thing. I'm not 100% sure. But what we do know is that had there been more security at this school, something that a lot of people on both sides of the aisle do not push for, whether it's public school, private school, whatever, they don't push for it because they're like, we don't want our kids to feel like they're growing up in some kind of totalitarian, militaristic state, even though, let's be honest, they are growing up in some sort of totalitarian, militaristic state when the government can say, hey, guess what? For the next 3 years, you have to stay at home. You can't go to school. If you go to school, you're going to have to wear a mask. We don't care about your progress. We don't care about any of this. You're going to be doing this. So yes, you are doing that, but they don't want you to have security or more security at schools because they don't want them to feel like they're in this weird totalitarian militaristic state. So instead, a lot of students go to school feeling a lot of fear that this could be a day that a school shooter comes in, instead of feeling, you know what? Not worried about it. If they tried to get in, there's officers here, and here who are there protecting the school. or maybe not officers, you hired security, whatever, just officers, because kids are going to think everything's officers. I'm not saying it has to be officers, but right now, Evelyn Decaus, Haley Scruggs, William Kinney, all age 9, are shot fatally, dead, gone, off this planet. Worst thing that a parent can hear. You send your kids to school where you think they're going to be safe, and because people are afraid that it'll look bad for them politically or whatever, they don't put the right amount of security at schools. Catherine Kuntz, age 60, Cynthia Peake and Mike Hill, both 61, were teachers or administrators or custodians at the school. Hill was a custodian, Peake was a substitute, and Kuntz was the head of school. So I'm guessing a principal sort of situation. All of them passed away, gone. Because people are afraid to put security in schools. If you needed more evidence that all you need is to put security at schools, the reason that Hale picked that site is because the other location that she had been considering had too much security around it. We all know where 90% of mass shootings occur. And those are in gun-free zones. If somebody could have been there, anybody could have been there, potentially carrying a weapon, Hale may have been deterred. And I'm not saying that would have been it and she wouldn't have gone somewhere else and done it. She wouldn't have gone somewhere else and not done it there. But the more security that we have, especially if we have security of, I might go in there, but I have no idea if the janitor's carrying, or I have no idea if one of the parent helpers there is carrying, or something along those lines. Just knowing that there is a chance that somebody else is there carrying a weapon to protect them and those that they care about, and anybody that they feel might be in danger, is going to be so much of a deterrent, because people don't commit these atrocities in places where lots of people are carrying or potentially carrying. All of these happen in places where nobody is supposed to be carrying a weapon. It's a travesty. Anytime this happens, it's a travesty, and I hate talking about it. But that one line in the Independent article, Audrey Hale, former student, left map and manifesto after shooting 6 of Nashville Christian School, which was published yesterday at about 6:30 p.m. For them to say, decided not to go to the other location because of security, for them to see that and say, nope, that should tell you everything you need to know about how these mass shootings happen, how they occur. We'll be right back after these commercials. Welcome back, everyone. I'm happy to be here. I hate talking about that first half stuff, but let's get into something else. Appreciate y'all sticking around through everything with me. Now, Senate Republicans announced on Monday that they're going to be introducing a resolution to overturn President Biden's student loan forgiveness plan. And for anybody who doesn't know, right before the midterms, President Biden did something not legal. He said, hey, look, not kidding around. We're going to get rid of $20,000 of everybody's student debts if they got the Pell Grant. And, it's time that we did this, because these students, they aren't getting their money's worth. And the reason that they aren't getting their money's worth is not because of the loans that they're getting. The reason that they're not getting their money's worth is because college has been inundated and it's no longer college. It is indoctrination into certain ideologies, into certain ways of thinking. It doesn't, no. You aren't actually educating the kids there. Instead, what you are doing is you are trying to churn them out to be specific drones of specific ideologies. Now, when you add in that you've basically guaranteed anybody that wants to go to college can get a loan, and that loan is guaranteed, you can't write these loans up. These loans do not count in bankruptcies. They don't count in bankruptcies. So if you were to declare bankruptcy, that loan would still be there. So that loan is going to get paid by hell or high water according to the government. It's the same thing as a tax lien. It's going to get paid. So schools, knowing this, could continue raising tuition, raising the cost of books, raising the cost of however much it costs for dorms and all that kind of stuff. And they would just continue to take out more loans, because they knew that that money was guaranteed by the federal government. Then you throw in that you're not really giving them an education, but instead you're indoctrinating them into this kind of Marxist theory, and you have them being pushed in that direction. They're going to come out of there and they're going to say, man, I just spent $80,000 to go to college, and now I'm working at Starbucks, or I'm waiting tables at Chili's, or doing whatever, and I can't afford my student loans, and this is terrible because inflation has made it where rent's out of control, and I can't save up money to buy a house, even though I wouldn't want to buy a house because I don't believe in personal property, because that's what they taught me at my college that I paid $80,000 to be at. Or more, I don't know. It's been a while since I've been. But since they are attempting to do all of this and telling them, you know what, personal property doesn't matter. Don't worry about that. Just go out. You'll be fine. Rent. They're like, I can't afford rent. I can't get a car because I don't have enough money because I'm paying off college debt. And if I default on that, they're just not going to give me back tax refunds because, W-2s. And so that is a whole separate thing. The Republicans in Congress are introducing a Congressional Review Act resolution that would dissolve the plan. I think this is a little bit early. I don't think they need to do this. It is currently up in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is probably going to shoot this down because the president can't come in and unilaterally just say, hey, look, this is what's going to happen. We're going to help out all of the people out there making less than $250,000 a year. And I'm going to just sign something that's going to, according to the Congressional Budget Office, cost about $400 billion over the next 30 years. No, you can't do that as president. You absolutely can't do that as president. And you can't write off people's debts and say, nope, those people's debts can go away, but those people's debts can't. You can't do that. That is not legal. The Supreme Court is probably going to shoot this down. I have every belief that the Supreme Court is shooting this down. But the CRA, Congressional Review Act, is led by Bill Cassidy, the ranking member of the Health, Education, Labor, and Pension Committees, and John Cornyn and Joni Ernst, who are all signing on. And according to Cassidy, he says, President Biden is not forgiving debt. He is shifting the burden of student loans off of the borrowers who willingly took on debt and placing it onto those who chose not to go to college or already fulfilled their commitment to pay off their loans. It is extremely unfair to punish these Americans, forcing them to pay the bill for these irresponsible and unfair student loan schemes, which is absolutely true, because this $400 billion over the next 30 years, even though I believe it's going to be so much higher than that, the $400 billion over the next 30 years is going to be coming from the taxpayers' dollars. And these are people who may not choose to go to college. These are people who've already gone to college, who've already paid off their debt, people who never chose to go to college, people that went into trades. They're the ones that are going to be paying this. This is not going to be the people paying this who are saying, hey, I can't afford this. Like, they're not going to be the ones doing it. They won't do it. Instead, it is going to be the people who are 1099. It's going to be the people who never went to college and are making a good amount. People who are making enough money that they aren't really getting refunds. They're the ones who are going to be doing this. They're going to be the ones hurt by this. They're going to be the ones paying for this. Now, this is the House doing it. So you have the Senate that you have to go through. And as we all know, the Senate has a 51-49 lead for the Democrats. So would this actually pass the Senate? Should it pass the House, which it probably will? Yeah, it absolutely will. Joe Manchin said he thought that it was excessive. The Joe Biden plan was excessive. And if he switches sides, you only need to switch one more. But you also have to remember that multiple Democrats are out because of illness and other mental health reasons. So you don't have all of the Democrats there. And if they aren't in chambers, they can't vote. So you switch one Democrat over, you could get this up. But Biden says he would plan to veto it. However, him vetoing it may be moot in the long run because the final decision by the Supreme Court is expected to be heard by May or June. So no matter what, I don't think that this plan goes anywhere. I think it's dead on arrival, and that's it. We aren't going to hear anything more about this. Now, should the Supreme Court decide, yeah, no, that's fine. Should the Supreme Court decide, no, that's fine, which I can't believe that they would do that. The CRA is kind of there as a backstop against that. But yeah, so the CRA would allows Congress to review and overturn any regulations created by a federal agency, and I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of the idea of the CRA but that knife would cut in so many different ways. Because let's say that the ATF comes out. Okay, recently the ATF came out with the pistol brace announcement. Congress could go, no, you can't do that. You know, the EPA could say, sorry, states, you can't dump water. You can't dump anything here into this reservoir. And, you know, they wouldn't win in the Supreme Court like what happened in West Virginia. Instead, but the Congress come in and say, no, you can't do that. You absolutely can't do that. This would kind of be a way to rein in federal agencies from just making their own rules. But it would only work if the party in power is going against those rules. So it's a knife that cuts both ways. So if the party in power doesn't want, the ATF to do things, or doesn't want the EPA to do things, or the Department of Education to do things, no. If the party in power wants those things, they're all going to go through. So it's a knife that's going to cut both ways. It also, I think Biden will veto it. And it won't matter either way. But I also think that the Supreme Court is going to shoot this down. So the student loan debt thing is going to be going away. So we'll find all of that out May or June, but keep an eye out on the CRA, the Congressional Review Act, and we will see exactly how far that goes and whether or not that passes the Senate, because that will actually be a pretty interesting vote. That is the episode. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you enjoy what is happening here at Muddied Waters Media, I ask you to do a couple of simple favors for us. Please, whatever podcasting platform you are listening to us on, give us a 5-star review. Also, leave a review. And the biggest way that you can help is by sharing this episode with your friends. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We will see you again very soon. And remember, where we're going, we don't need roads.